Okay, so welcome to the first video, audio, whatever you want to call it, on my channel. So there's a conundrum happening right now, shall we say. And that conundrum is, it's never, ever been harder to date girls than it is today. And I've given this some serious thought because I'm not old, but I'm not young. I'm 42. And at 42 years old, I can say I'm in fantastic shape. I look good. I'm over 6 foot tall. I'm successful. And it's actually never been harder to find chicks. And let's be honest, I mean, sure, there's a lot of guys out there looking for their soulmate, looking for someone to share a life with, looking for somebody to alleviate them of their loneliness. But the reality of the matter is, most of us are just looking to smash, right? Right? So, okay, this is the fork in the road, I'm sure, where some people are going to leave this channel, some people are going to join this channel. But basically, we have a phenomenon. The phenomenon is girls who are 5 out of 10 are now acting like they are a 9 out of 10. There is no such thing as a 10 out of 10, so let's get that straight. So why are the girls who are 5, and when I say 5, I mean adjustable 5s, I'm being generous, why are they now acting like they are 9 out of 10? The reason for this is because of technology, the internet, social media. What we have is we have a situation where we thought technology was going to make life better. It was going to make us more money. It was going to give us more time. And perhaps at one point even it was going to get us more pussy. But we've been robbed of all of those things. We have less time than we've ever had. We make less money than we've ever had. Profit margins are smaller than they've ever been. And we're getting less pussy than we've ever got. Gone are the days where a guy could easily go out and stop a girl in the street and get her phone number. Now it all happens online. We're subjected to swiping, jumping into people's DMs. Unrecognizable. Unrecognizable. But I'm getting a little bit off track here. Why are the 5s acting like the 10s? It's very simple. The reason the 5s are acting like the 10s is because those girls, 9s, we have to remember there is no such thing as a 10. Those girls who used to be accessible, who are 8s, 9s, they are no longer accessible. They have been sucked up into the higher realms. They've been sucked up through social media and deposited in places like Monaco. They've been deposited in places like Dubai. They're on yachts, private jets. When a girl wakes up, have you ever, I don't know, for anyone who's listening, have you ever had a chick who you are fucking, shall we say, and you have something casual with her, and you have the kind of relationship with her that you can say, hey, show me your DMs. And she goes, why you want to see my DMs? I said, I want to know what it's like inside the DMs of a girl who is as hot as you. So if you've ever looked inside those DMs, because I have, it will blow your mind to pieces. It's unbelievable. It's absolutely unbelievable. I mean, this girl who, there's been a few girls who have shown me their DMs, but this girl I'm thinking of in particular, she was a solid 8.5. Her DMs daily are filled with offers that would make your eyes water. Offers to go shopping, offers for flights, offers to come to parties on yachts, offers to go to all kinds of different places. And she literally scrolls through those offers like a 16th century French king. I mean, it was unbelievable. It was nothing to her. I'd have taken all of those offers. I'd have snapped them right up. But she was swiping through them like, which offer shall I select? Which man pleases me today? It was wild. And that's just how her day begins. What you need to understand is she then gets up out of bed and goes out into the world. And she goes to, I don't know, the local cafe to get, I don't know, what do girls eat for breakfast? Avocado on toast and a collagen smoothie. So on her way from home to collagen smoothie and avocado on toast, there's going to be guys trying to stop her. When she gets to the cafe, there's guys who are going to be wanting to make eye contact with her, guys who are looking for an in. And even the guys who don't get eye contact, there's going to be guys who are going to approach her, ask for the phone number. It's non-stop, is my point. Okay? So these girls have been sucked out of the dating pool, wherever it is you live, New York, London, I don't know, wherever. Florida Keys, I don't know. I'm not very good at geography. They've been sucked out of your market into places where you will never touch them. Okay, so what that does is that creates a, let's call it a pussy liquidity vacuum in the town or city where you live. That vacuum has been created. So now the girls who are left, the 5's and the 6's, because remember the 7 and 8's, they're out of circulation. The 5's and the 6's now have additional interest from men who used to be able to get their hands on the 8's and the 9's. So there is this influx of attention that makes them feel extremely popular. So what happens? They start behaving like 8's and 9's. Many a time I've been on a date with a girl who is an adjustable 6. I know friends who go on dates with girls who are adjustable 6's. And they sit there and they listen to their nonsense and they are thinking to themselves, why is this girl acting like she's more than she really is? And that's because she can. Because of this pussy liquidity vacuum. It's created a false sense of hotness. They feel the demand. So it puts us all in a tight position. So where do we go from here? What's my point with all of this? My point is, me personally, I'm not interested in smashing 5's and 6's. 90% of the time. Let's at least be honest. Of course, there are times where, I meet a 5 and it's a layup and she's going to come straight to my place. But most of the time, I'll be honest with you, I just want to smash 8's and 9's. The 5's and the 6's don't interest me. But this presents an additional problem. I'm also not looking for a girlfriend. I have no interest in a relationship whatsoever. I mean, when I look around and I see my friends in relationships, marriages, they are getting wrecked. And I don't fancy it. If I was stood at the side of the road with you, for example, and we stood there and we watched 10 people cross the road, and out of those 10 people, 9 people get run over by a car or a semi. Are you going to try and cross that road in that spot? Of course not. It would be stupid. But so many people do it. So many people see that all the relationships around them, their best friends, their acquaintances, they're a nightmare. They're not working. But they still go out and they're still trying to find a relationship. It is the most asinine thing you can do. Okay? It's completely mental. And I had a girl a few weeks ago say to me, so all you're looking for is sex? And I told her, yeah. I mean, in 2025, that's all most girls provide. And I don't want to sound like a misogynist, like I'm looking for someone to cook and clean. Let's pick something else. Let's pick something a little bit more modern. I would love to meet a woman who could actually provide some kind of valuable input into my life. And that could be anything. She could be a nutrition expert. She could say, you know what, I'm going to rewire your entire diet. I'm not going to cook it for you, but I'm going to rewire your diet. I'm going to tell you what you should be eating, what you shouldn't be eating. And those things are going to optimize your life. They're going to optimize the way you feel. They're going to optimize your performance. She could say, hey, I know you like working out, but you're not doing it right. Let me show you how to do it, because, you know, I was a personal trainer for a number of years, or, you know, I studied physical fitness. Who knows? It could be anything. It could be somebody who has great taste, great style. They could up-level you in some way. But that doesn't happen. Most women these days are just vapid, empty vessels, unfortunately. And, you know, I know there's a lot of people who are going to say, oh, you're a misogynist, you're a woman hater. I'm really not. I'm just being realistic. I'm just talking about what I see. And what I see is women in 2025 do not have hard skills. They do not bring anything to the table. And I've even posed that question to girls I've been on dates with, where I've said to them, hey, what are you looking for? And of course, 6 foot, 6 pack, 6 figures, all the nonsense. I said, great, if you meet this guy, what do you bring to the table for him? And they look at me like I just arrived on this earth in a spaceship with 2 heads and eyes on stalks. And they say, duh, I bring me. And then if you press them on that, they get into that kind of mystical woman energy nonsense. And I don't buy it. I don't buy it. So when this girl said to me, so all you're looking for is sex, I said, of course all I'm looking for is sex. You don't provide anything else. You're not going to pick me up in your nice car, take me to nice dinners. You're not going to teach me about things that are going to make my life better. If the relationship goes well, you're not going to move me into your place rent-free and we live together. So what do? You don't want to walk my dogs. You don't want to help me cook. You've never made me a protein smoothie. Never brought me a cup of coffee. What else do you do? And the answer is nothing. So where does this leave us? Where does this leave men? Where does this leave me? I don't want to smash 5's and 6's 90% of the time. I certainly don't want to smash anything less than a 5. In fact, what I really like doing is I like smashing 8's and 9's. I like beautiful women. But this leads us to the next problem. And the next problem is the 8's and 9's are not willing to smash 99% of the time. There's always an exception to the rule. The 8's and 9's are not willing to smash without the promise of a relationship, without there being gold at the end of the rainbow, shall we say. And I get it. I really do. And I don't feel comfortable lying to them. I don't feel comfortable promising a woman tomorrow in order to get what I want today. I don't feel comfortable about that. I've done it. I've done it in my 20s. I've done it in my 30s. But in my 40s, I try to hold myself to a higher standard. And I don't feel comfortable lying just to get a little bit of pussy. Excuse me. So where does that leave me? I'll tell you where that leaves me. That leaves me paying for pussy. And it's amazing to me how many men feel uncomfortable with this concept. But they would happily go and sit across the table from a 5, listen to whatever she's rabbiting on about all night, and then pick up the check for dinner, and then pay for her Uber home, and go home on his own and jerk off, after settling the bill at a restaurant, plus Uber for probably $150 on a cheap date. Why the hell would you do that? Okay? There's something that I call the paper smash index. The paper smash index is a mathematical calculation that basically tells you how much money you have to spend for one sexual interaction with a woman. So let's break it down. Most women are not fucking on the first date. Okay? Most women are going to make you wait 3 dates, maybe even 5 dates. And a lot of men are willing to put up with that because they've been conditioned that that is the, in inverted commas, gentlemanly thing to do. But the reality is, this is nonsense, okay? So let's say, for example, you have some girls who are going to fuck you on the first date. They'll go home with you and fuck you on the first date. You're going to be up until all hours of the morning trying to bag that, but there are some girls who will do it. Most girls, they're going to make you wait 3 dates. Some girls, they're going to make you wait 5 dates. And some of those girls that you go on these dates with, you will never get to the point where you actually have sex with them. Okay? So we can say that on average, it's taking somewhere between 3 and 5 dates to smash a chick. And we can say, on average, you're going to spend $150 per date in any of the major cities across the world. We can get into the price of pussy. We can get into pussy arbitrage, pussy price arbitrage later. That's a separate conversation. It's a slightly separate topic, but very, very much linked to this topic, but it's a separate topic that we can discuss at a later date. So let's say, for example, it's going to cost $150 on a date. Okay, let's not even talk about London. Let's talk about a non-major city. Let's talk about a Manchester. Let's talk about an Austin, Texas. Let's talk about, I don't know, whatever city that isn't the major city in the country where you live. Let's say Manchester. You're going to go meet the girl. You're going to have dinner. It's going to cost you $100. It's going to cost you $100. It's going to cost you £100. No change out of £100, right? It's going to cost you £20 to send her home in an Uber. And after dinner, if you're lucky, maybe you'll go somewhere else for drinks, right? So you're going to go somewhere else for drinks. You're going to have one round of drinks. It's going to cost you $30. Maybe if you go to a slightly cheaper place for $30, you can get 2 rounds of drinks. So 100 for dinner, 30 for drinks, 20 to send her home in a taxi, $150. Maybe on the second date, you can kind of play like Mr. Casual, Mr. Cool. Hey, there's a great movie that's come out at the cinema. Let's go to the cinema. Okay? Let's go for pizza in a cinema, right? So you're going to take her for pizza. Okay? Maybe you guys even share a pizza. She's not a big fat pig, so she's not going to have her own pizza. She can share a pizza with you. You guys can share some starters, whatever. Okay? So pizza dinner is going to cost you $60. Cinema ticket's going to cost you $20 each ticket. That's $100. You're going to send her home in an Uber, that's $20. You're still over $100, right? So let's be really conservative. Let's say each date costs $100. Okay? And she's going to fuck you on the third date. That's $300. Okay? But not all girls fuck on the third date. Some girls you're not even going to get to the third date. So some girls are going to fall out. That's going to push the average up. It's going to push it up to 5. Okay? And some girls are going to make you wait 5 dates. And some girls just aren't going to fuck you at all. So we're at 5 dates already. Okay? That's $500. And you didn't get, you've had to go on all of these dates. So per sexual interaction, you've got to go on 5 dates to hit that. You've got to spend about $100 minimum per date. So no matter how you skin this, no matter how you look at this, it's costing you $500 for one dip, shall we say. Okay? Now there's a lot of people who say, yeah, but once you get it the first time, you can amortize the cost, and then, she's just going to come to your place and this, that, and the other. Wrong. Sure, she's going to come to your place, and sometimes you're not going to have to take her on a date. She's just going to come straight to your place. But is she going to do that every time? No. And what else is going to happen? She's going to increase your costs in other areas. Forget about time. Forget about all the WhatsApping. Forget about the headaches she's going to bring you. You're going to have to take her places. You're going to have to take her on weekends away. You're going to have to buy her birthday presents. When she comes over, that takeaway, you're going to have to order enough for 2. So now your cost just doubled. Even if she comes over and you cook dinner for her, you got to cook dinner for two. So your cost just doubled. That's 2 steaks instead of 1. So it's really hard to amortize the cost of puss. Okay? And most of the time, you're going to go through all of this effort just to fuck a 5. Because that's what's available. Let's be realistic. The 8s and 9s aren't available. And if they are available, they're going to make you jump through hoops that either you don't have the ability to jump through in terms of finances or patience, or they're just going to be too much of a headache. They're inaccessible. So it leaves you with the 5s and 6s. You happy to fuck those? If you are, great. If you're someone who doesn't have an interest in just smashing and you actually enjoy the company of a woman, great. Good for you. I wish I was more like that. But I'm not. So, where does it leave me? Leave me paying for puss. And I have no problem with it. I love it. A Saturday night in with an 8 or a 9 coming over to provide paid services, for me is a luxury. It's like, you know, it's a guilty pleasure. It's like a pizza on the sofa watching a movie. I love it. So I think at the end of the day, guys need to realize that when it comes to puss, when it comes to getting that smash, when it comes to women, you might not think you're paying for it, but you are paying for it. So be sensible. And let's be honest. Let's take away all social norms, okay? You take a girl out for dinner, the waiter sits you down at the table, and you stop and you say, hey, this dinner tonight's going to cost me $200. By the time I take you for drinks, $250. By the time I send you home in an Uber, another $50. So all in all, this evening is going to cost me $300. And my objective is to fuck you. This is an interview for sex. So how about I just give you that $300? How many girls, if you removed the social norms, how many girls would say no? Because on some level, they also want to fuck, right? But they don't want to look like a slut. They don't want to tell their friends. They don't want you to tell anyone. But if you could take away all social norms and you said to them, how about we just go back to my place, fuck for an hour, and I give you what it will cost me to entertain you this evening? How many would say no? Not many.